Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
SAPD or FBI, that was help.
SAPD and FBI, they're just covering their back. They're not working. They're just wasting their time.
Strong words from the father of little Lena Keel tonight after the latest search for his daughter turns up nothing. After 2 days of searching, San Antonio police have called it off this afternoon.
SAPD told us the tip that prompted this latest search turned out not to be credible, and they've done all they can to search the woods behind an apartment complex in the medical center. Still, a former FBI agent tells our Daniela Ibarra this latest dead end should not make people lose hope.
In the search for Lena Keel, San Antonio police brought out excavators to these woods on the northwest side. It's about half a mile from where the little girl was last seen in December of 2021.
And it just breaks my heart because she is a child.
Neighbors like Mary Almaguer and John, united by the hope Keel will be found.
And we just hope she comes back safe. If not, hope the family finds her so they get disclosure and are able to see their baby again.
But the Keel family will have to keep waiting. Police left this afternoon after not finding anything, which retired FBI agent Abel Pena says is a relief.
At the same time, for the family, for Riaz and his wife, they're still asking a lot of questions. What happened to their daughter?
Pena is working with Keel's family to track her down. Where does the investigation go from here?
There's still quite a bit. I mean, we're following up on leads. We continue to talk to people quite a bit.
While police say the tip that led them here isn't credible, Pena says it could help generate more.
We're just hopeful that somebody is looking at these videos. Somebody knows maybe the story about what happened to Lena, and maybe it'll encourage people to be brave.
While this search did come up empty, San Antonio police are hoping you can help them by providing the tip that will help them find Lena Keel. You can call them at 210-207-2313. On the northwest side, Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
Let's move to Eagle Pass now, where they found 2 children alone. 2 migrant children were found by themselves near Shelby Park with only a note. That's according to a social media post by the Texas Department of Public Safety.
DPS officials posted these photos of the kids who were found. A DPS spokesperson says they're from Honduras. There was a phone number written on that note and a Los Angeles address. Just yesterday, a group of 4 kids from Guatemala were found in the same area.
And staying in Eagle Pass today, Governor Greg Abbott announced plans to build an 80-acre base camp for hundreds and thousands of Texas military personnel. It's all in an effort to expand state operations at the border.
Let's take a look at where this park is going to be. The base camp will be built around 6 miles south of Shelby Park. Today, the governor called the new construction essential.
John Paul Barajas live in Eagle Pass tonight. John Paul, you spoke with people who live there about this whole new base camp being built. Is it safe to say they're not happy about the idea?
Absolutely. Frustrated and annoyed are other words you could also use in that sentiment. And right here behind me, this empty field is where Governor Abbott wants to put that base that will house 1,800 Texas National Guard members with the capability of bumping that number up to 2,300 during migrant surges. Their goal is to have the first 300 housed here by mid-April. Abbott says this is an effort to improve quality of life and living conditions for Texas National Guard soldiers, but also improve their response time and increase their ability to add razor wire to the border. And this location is only about 15 minutes from Shelby Park, which the state took over earlier this year, adding fencing and denying access to Border Patrol agents. It's measures like that, and now the plans for a base that have those who live here frustrated. It's really bad that it looks as if it was a war zone, he said.
He's doing it because he's running again. This is what I did. This is what I tried to do. And I think Abbott is, I don't know. I don't think he's helping us at all.
Now, all of this comes at a time when we saw record-breaking numbers of crossings in January or in December, and then those numbers dropped by 50% in January. As for how much this base is going to cost taxpayers, we did not get a clear answer on the exact number, but the governor did say that they'll end up saving money at the end of this because they'll be spending less on hotel and travel. In Eagle Pass, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. Today, a bipartisan group of lawmakers, by the way, introduced a foreign aid and narrow border package in the House of Representatives. The package would provide more than $66 billion in military assistance to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, and crack down on illegal border crossings. It would restore the so-called Remain in Mexico policy, which requires asylum seekers to return to Mexico until their case is ready for court in the U.S. Nothing expected to happen soon on this new measure because the chamber's on recess until the end of the month.
Over in El Paso, more than 100 demonstrators protested a new immigration law that allows local and state law enforcement to arrest migrants. State judges will also have the ability to issue orders to send migrants back to Mexico. Governor Greg Abbott has said that Texas has a right to protect itself against the president's border policies, but opponents say this law violates civil rights.
To make it clear, I mean, that SB4 don't belong to the state. This is not what we wanted. That is a discriminatory, racist legislation, and we're protesting against it. And we want the state of Texas to eliminate SB4. I mean, that is the end goal of this campaign that we're launching today.
This new state law is set to go into effect on March 5th.
Tonight, 2 people have been arrested for their part in a deadly shooting in southeast Bexar County. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, 39-year-old James Guetta and 18-year-old Matthew Fitzgerald William accused of killing Albert Anthony Solis. Sheriff Javier Salazar says Solis was killed during a robbery. He said the crime happened last month in the 9500 block of South W.W. White Road. That's just outside the Loop 410 I-37 interchange. Both Guetta and William are being charged with murder.
There's no punishment that exists that would ever be enough for the crime.
The ex-wife of a man now facing the death penalty for attacking her and her 2 daughters is now talking about that possible punishment.
Stephen Clare is accused of shooting Mariah Gardner and stabbing their 2 daughters. Their 11-month-old died in that attack. Gardner tells our Erica Hernandez she is glad the death penalty is on the table.
There's no punishment that exists that would ever be enough for the crime that he committed.
Those past 10 months, Mariah Gardner has dealt with the unimaginable. Gardner, back on April 10th, 2023, says she was shot several times by her ex-husband, Stephen Clare. Clare is also accused of then stabbing his 2-year-old daughter, Rosalie, and 11-month-old daughter, Willow. Willow would not survive her injuries. Clare was later charged with capital murder, attempted capital murder, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. On Thursday, the DA's office announcing that they would be pursuing the death penalty against Clare.
It was important for me to know that he would be punished to the greatest extent of what the law allows. And I was very vocal with the DA's office in terms of what I wanted.
Gardner is now preparing for the long process still ahead as they await a trial date.
This is something that my children and I have been forced to live with every single day. I will live with this trauma every single day for the rest of my life. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that he is held accountable.
In the meantime, Gardner is not only still grieving the loss of her daughter, but dealing with PTSD and helping her kids as they deal with their trauma as well.
We did survive. And I think if we can find a way to honor Willow while we also celebrate our survival, I think that'll be the key to getting through it, and just lots and lots of prayers.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
By the way, there were also other children in the house when that alleged attack took place that were able to escape. Stephen Clare's next court hearing is scheduled for March 4th. A scheduling order expected to be decided on that would lay out the timeline of what's ahead for this case and when a possible trial date would be set.
If you or someone you know is in a dangerous relationship, KSAT 12 has a list of resources on our website that can help. You can find those by going to the domestic violence page on our website at ksat.com. Help is out there and you can access it right now.
Check out the weather situation right now. It's pretty nice, 68 degrees. A lot of people starting their weekend. But what's the timing on the cool down, Adam?
You know, the cold front's going to arrive in just a few hours. It'll be in San Antonio. It's approaching the hill country as we speak. and you're going to notice it when it arrives. First of all, we have a few showers that have popped up right along the cold front, and you can see they're just south of Blanco, moving toward Wimberley and Fisher as well. You'll just get clipped by these brief showers from Blanco to Fisher, north side of Canyon Lake, and even Wimberley. But even into Kendall County, a few little pop-up showers around Sisterdale. Not much to speak of, but there's a little bit of action along this cold front. I don't anticipate much in terms of showers as the cold front moves through San Antonio. Just one or two popping up is really the only possibility. Biggest thing you'll notice this evening, the wind. It's going to pick up, and by 9 o'clock, I expect gusts up to 30, maybe even 35 miles per hour. Steady winds around 20 miles per hour. 56 at 10 o'clock, even chillier this weekend. We'll jump into those details in a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Let's check out traffic out there with your traffic authority. I-10 and Frio. We're looking at the eastbound lanes. Slow going on both the upper and lower decks, and it is a much different story in the westbound lanes as people make their way out from downtown, getting into downtown. Definitely more crowded right now.
Still ahead on the news at 6. You hungry? The food at the rodeo is always a big attraction for people who head out there. Well, up next, a look at the crew that makes sure the food at the rodeo is safe to eat. Next.
See those turkey legs?
Yeah.
The number of days are dwindling for a scrapyard on the southwest side to appeal the city revoking its license to recycle. But coming up tonight on the Night Beat, we're walking you through how neighbors are meeting with city and state leaders and also Monterey to keep this discussion going ahead of a potential appeal process.
Every day, thousands of people visit the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, and they're hungry. So there is a whole team of people making sure food at the rodeo is safe to eat.
Yeah, they have good food and drinks there. Tiffany Huertas followed Metro Health as they inspect some of this year's rodeo foods.
We might want to make sure people are washing their hands, that the food is at the proper temperatures, both hot and cold.
Every day, Metro Health food inspectors visit the different booths at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. One inspector comes in the morning and the other in the afternoon.
We look for evidence of any insects or rodents, which in this case we've not had any.
Curzel Ramos, Senior Environmental Health Officer for Metro Health, says they will also check if all the equipment is working properly.
We also haven't checked the coolers or the refrigerator units to make sure that they're operating. Occasionally what happens, a unit may go out overnight, and we want to make sure that the food in that unit is still good to be served.
When the health inspectors are here at the rodeo, they're looking for detail. Tell me about canned foods.
One of the things that we look for is for cans that may have a dent. If the can has a dent on the rim or the seam of the can, it cannot be used. Now, if it happens to have one on the side, as long as it doesn't form any kind of edge or corner to it, they're able to use it.
Metro Health says so far this year, no issues have been found. There are 80 food booths, including
Fajita Corral. We basically just raise it's 100% goes to scholarships. We just raise money for scholarships.
Deborah Jaime says they have been participating in the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo for 9 years.
We have to be ready for the inspectors at all times, so we have to have our sanitizers out, and if it's not up to date, then they let us know. We go back and we fix it. But it's a daily routine.
She welcomes the Metro Health team.
We anticipate that they come out all the time and hold us accountable if we need to be held accountable.
Although the rodeo isn't finished, Metro Health is already preparing for future events and meeting with vendors participating in Fiesta. Reporting from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Oh, I could go for a funnel cake.
All that mac and cheese looked really good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've told you my story of going out to the rodeo and it was freezing cold and all my child wanted was a snow cone.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's going to be a cold day for a snow cone this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be chilly at the rodeo.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah, right.
It's true, and Mama paid for it, so there we go.
It didn't melt as quickly. There you have it.
Yeah.
There's the bonus. The snow cones and ice cream won't melt as quickly this weekend either. We've got some main headlines here. Cold front arriving soon. We're talking by 8 o'clock that cold front's going to be in San Antonio. Turning windy for tonight and all the way through tomorrow. A chilly weekend on the way with a light freeze. And speaking of the light freeze, let's go to our Temperature trend for the mornings. The morning low temperature typically right around sunrise. 40 degrees tomorrow, so a chill in the air, but the light freeze by Sunday morning at 32 degrees. Monday, not a whole lot better, but we'll be at 36. And then notice next week, by the middle of the week, spring-like temperatures return with mornings back into the 50s and afternoons, of course, even warmer than that. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's look at our temperature map across the state. Amarillo 38, Midland, Abilene at 50. Junction just dropped to 60, but Del Rio at 75. The cold front is moving through the hill country as we speak. Kerrville, Comfort, you're going to feel that cold front very, very soon. Your wind is already starting to shift, and really quickly, within 30 minutes, it's going to start picking up and accelerating. Tomorrow morning, this is what the map's going to look like. 36 Kerrville, 39 Bandera, 39 Canyon Lake, Bernie and Bulverde, 37, near 40 around San Antonio, south of Highway 90 in the lower 40s. Then by noon, we're at 47, and check out our high temperature, only 51 for the afternoon high. And it's going to be windy. So we're going to factor in that wind, and it's going to feel like it's about 10 degrees cooler than the actual air temperature. Then we have to get into Sunday morning, clear, calm, and cold. Luckily, there won't be a breeze Sunday morning. Right at freezing, I think, along and north of Highway 90. So a good chunk of San Antonio. Just plan for a brief light freeze on Sunday morning when it comes to the pets and the plants. Into the hill country, some upper 20s. Comfort, Kerrville, Ingram, Sisterdale. You're talking 28, 29 for the morning temperature at sunrise on Sunday. Afternoons, we talked about Saturday at 51. Sunday only 57. Well below our average of 68, but then we spike above average, and into next week, spring-like, back to 80 degrees, and all that, the chill from the weekend will be in the rearview mirror. Hey, Kerrville, the wind just picked up, 18 miles per hour right now. That's the steady wind, but check out our futurecast for wind speeds. By 10 o'clock, I'm anticipating widespread gusts up to 35 miles per hour across our area. So turning windy quickly this evening, and the temperature dropping a bit as well as a result of the cold front. Even tomorrow morning, if you have the plans for the long jog in the morning, bike ride, whatever it is, it's going to be cold and gusty as well. You won't have any precipitation to deal with. You'll just have the cold and the wind. Tomorrow evening, the wind's really going to pump the brakes and come to an end. Quick look at satellite and radar from today, and most of the rain was just southeast of San Antonio. Coming up at 6:45, we'll look at the big difference in rainfall accumulations across our area. But I want to point out, this upper disturbance is moving out of here. We don't have any more rain in the forecast, and our next big system is actually closer to Hawaii than it is San Antonio. At 6:45, we'll talk about that moving eastward and what it means for our conditions. This weekend, windy cold tomorrow, sunny on Sunday, 32 in the morning, 57 the high, and then spring-like as we get into next week. I mean, Myra, you said it perfectly at 5. Both 32 and 81 on the same screen.
Yeah. I don't know why that's funny, but it is.
I agree.
Thanks, Adam.
Weather whiplash is what it is. All right, All-Star Weekend. Wemby's there. Yeah. Wemby's hit Indy. So is Larry.
So is Larry, and so is Sohan. It's a big old party. NBA All-Star Weekend is officially underway as of this evening, and yes, Larry Ramirez will join us again live in Indy to get us ready for the action. Plus, San Antonio FC's game plan as they approach the start of their preseason schedule. Coming up right after the break. NBA All-Star Weekend is in full swing. The celebrity game tipped off not too long ago. Micah Parsons versus CJ Stroud. We'll recap that for you tonight. We'll also keep you updated on the Rising Stars Challenge, a 3-game mini tournament featuring a pair of Spurs. And with that, let's check in again with our Larry Ramirez in Indianapolis. Larry, it's almost time for the fun to begin.
It is almost time indeed, and in fact, the fans are behind me waiting to get in, I think in about another 15 minutes or so, and that's because, Mary, we are getting closer and closer to the Rising Stars contest tonight right here at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. It's also the site of the NBA All-Star Game Sunday night. Now, the day started off with the Rising Stars media avail. Jeremy was in the mixed zone room where multiple players were interviewed at the same time, while Victor got podium treatment to help with crowd control. A lot of members of the media be, I'm telling you. And then after that, both of the guys practiced with their squads. Wimby was drafted first overall, and he'll play for Team Powell. Sohan will suit up for Team Jalen. During his Q&A, Wimby was asked what he feels is his welcome to the NBA moment.
Welcome to the NBA moment. I mean, there's been plenty of them, you know. The earliest one I can remember is, you know, Kevin Durant was pretty tough to guard, even though sometimes it feels like you've done your best, and he still scores. And so, yeah, there's been plenty of those.
There's also been plenty of awesome moments, and Jeremy has been there with one of the best seats to witness Wimby's greatness both on and off the court.
It's crazy. I feel like he was born for this in a way, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't get to him the way he, you know, just carries himself, you know, in the facility, at games, on the bus, in the hotel, in restaurants. I think it's just amazing how, you know, mature he is for his age, and just how respectful he is, and he respects the grind, he respects he obeys the basketball gods, and he just wants to be the best, so.
And sometime during media avail and practice, check it out, it started to snow here in Indianapolis. Thank goodness our live shots are inside, and the local forecast is calling from about 2 to 5 inches of snow ending around 9 p.m. local time. And Mary, maybe I'll do a snow angel later. No promises, though. Back to you in San Antonio.
Can't wait to see that. All right, thank you, Larry. San Antonio FC is in full preparation mode for their preseason slate, and head coach Alan Marcina is hammering home the pressing principles of his game plan, and the players are ready to compete as a unit.
Yeah, excited to see what we've worked on for the past couple of weeks, seeing it come to fruition and putting that to the test, challenging ourselves.
We've been working all week on our team chemistry and how we work together and stuff like that, so I think all the guys are like really excited to go against opposition, you know, go against someone that's like not our friends, you know.
It's the intensity in the actions, it's the aggression in the actions, and it's the cohesion in the actions. Those are like at the foundation of the pressing principles. And then obviously there's specific principles what we try to do on the field, but I have to keep that confidential.
This preseason match against Houston Dynamo 2 is not open to the public, but the club's February 24th preseason match will be. Can't wait for that.
All right, I know the season hasn't even started yet, but Coach Marcina's hair is already
on point.
On point. Yeah.
All right. Steve approves.
Yeah.
Puro picks. We got things happening this weekend in San Antonio coming your way next. All right, it is time for the weekend. We've got lots of things to do in San Antonio. So to give us a rundown of the Puro picks, we have Stephanie Guerra joining us, local influencer.
This is like, you know, my favorite segment. I love this.
I know. It's a great way to end the week.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is a great way to end the week. And we're going to talk about a cleanup to begin.
Yes.
Basura Bash.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold.
But I hope people go out to this because it is needed.
It's needed.
So just dress warm, right? We know better now. We have people telling us about the weather in advance, so they can help us out. But so tomorrow is the Basura Bash, and they have teamed up with River Aid San Antonio to help us clean our beautiful Riverwalk from beginning to end. So you can join all morning long. You can sign up at basurabash.org, and there's different spots along the river that we will be cleaning up. I know we see the news reports about all the trash from the rain and the weather, and you know, like it's just a really great time. It's an annual event to help clean up our city and let us have beautiful scenery when we go out for our walk.
Is it basically the mission part of the Riverwalk that we're talking about that they're doing to clean up?
I believe even further. So so normally River Aid has like a monthly cleanup in different sections of the river, but this is a very, very, very long stretch of the Riverwalk. So
go volunteer.
So lots of help
volunteer,
needed.
dress warm.
Put on a coat.
You're helping our city, and plus we don't want all that stuff in the water, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah. And when it rains, you see how clean we sometimes are not.
Yes.
Okay, next event sounds so fun. Puppies and Pilates.
This sounds so cute, and I'm really sad I can't go tomorrow, but Animal Care Services with the City of San Antonio and In Balance Alamo Ranch have teamed up for a puppies and Pilates class. It's only an hour and a half, so you don't have to kill yourself doing Pilates, but there are going to be cute puppies there. It's donation based, and you can adopt the puppies if you want to take them home when you're done. But I just thought it's a really cute way to keep the Love Week going and show love to all of our furry friends that need some houses.
It's also a great concept.
It is, yeah.
I mean, whoever thought of that is
puppy yoga and goat yoga. I'm like, who thought of that? That is. They
do
were
you do
genius.
Pilates with like a puppy on you?
Yeah, I think
They
it's
probably
like
wouldn't stay.
the machines and all of that stuff. They're somewhere maybe crawling around, but I saw the picture of these puppies. They're super cute.
It's something to think about other than the burn, right?
All right, the next one is Street to Feet. It's the 15th annual 5K fundraiser at Hangar 9, which is in Brooks. And Street to Feet, I did a story on it when it first started. It was actually started as a running group for homeless people that were at Haven for Hope, and they decided to make it an event where they can get tennis shoes, they get all kinds of things.
Oh, that's really
and it's just a great activity for people. You don't think of that.
All of the resources that our homeless, unhoused neighbors need, right?
Yes.
Street to Feet is a health and mental wellness nonprofit. So they help them with those resources on a daily basis, and so they do have their annual 5K. This is their 15th annual one on Sunday, and it's great. It's a 5K. It's family friendly. You are supporting the cause of them bringing health and wellness resources to homeless people all across the city. So I just love the initiative that they have, and you can volunteer with them for their races and events, or you can just go have fun, and you can donate also your time and money. Plus, all of our friends across the city are there with us, so they encourage everyone to run together.
Yeah.
It's a really great event.
That's very cool. President's Day coming up. We got a comedy bash.
So we need some comic relief this weekend.
I was going to say, what's funnier than President's Day, huh?
So I love this show that is going on because we have local Latina comedian Michelle Cantu, who's one of the headliners, with Raymond Orta, who a lot of people know as well. He's a very funny man. And they're doing that this Sunday night at McAllister Auditorium. There are still tickets available. I believe they start at $25, $30. I don't know if this is a family-friendly event. So you might want to double check on age limits on Sunday night. But if you're off Monday, this is a really, really great option for Sunday evening. Go out and have a lot of laughs, maybe at our elected officials' behalf.
Her expense,
Yes, there we go. Sorry.
All right, next, this is a kind of bar Olympics. Is that what we're talking about? It's a Sojourn Trading Company bar takeover.
So this, I think, is a really neat event. So Sojourn is right here in the heart of downtown on Houston Street next to the Frostbank Tower. And they have invited one of the world's top 50 bars called Rayo from Mexico City to join them for a weekend takeover of the bar. And there are different events all day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, with this bar. So this is like your chance. If you've never been able to get to Mexico City, if you've been trying to get the top 50 bars on your list, to go travel to, but you can't leave San Antonio, this is the place to do it. So they're starting with a brunch on Sunday. Then the bartenders from Rayo will be taking over Sojourn on Sunday night. They have a bicycle mural ride with all of the bartenders from both of the bars. And a lot of other bartenders that work in downtown San Antonio. And then they have an after party and some awards and competitions Monday, Tuesday night at Mave and different parts of this downtown area. But I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime
That's a really cool idea. I haven't heard of that.
I think it was
another bartender, taking over.
Bartenders love to have friendly competition with each other, invite each other to each other's bars. I know the owner, Derek of Sojourn, he is friends with the owners of Rayo. He's been trying to get them here for a long time. So they finally made it to San Antonio, and it's going to be a really, really neat experience.
The cocktail competition is what caught my eye. That's why I was like, oh, it's like the Olympics. For bartenders.
I mean, one of the top 50 bars, like that is going to be a sight to see. So it's going to be really neat to watch.
Yeah, it's a great competition with an umbrella on top.
Yes. How do you like that, Adam?
Loved it.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, as always.
I'm so glad to be back. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Go enjoy the outdoors or the rodeo or all of our local things and bundle up.
Yeah, just need a coat. You'll be good. All right. We'll see you next time.
We'll be right back.
Caskey's doing things
I know,
over
he's-
here.
All right, it's not a figment of your imagination. Gas prices are on the rise and just in time for the holiday weekend.
Isn't it great when that happens? We saw quite a jump in prices this week. And as 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz reports, you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper in the coming weeks to fill up your car.
Hang on to your cap. Gas prices just moved into the climbing lane. They're up 18 cents in the past week, 32 cents in the past month. John Kajioka feels it. His truck guzzles $65 a fill up.
I know I got to gas up every week.
Janice Salazar drives a lot too.
Know which areas have the cheaper gas, so I do a little shopping around to the different areas.
We did too and found unleaded for $2.59 and along Pat Booker in Universal City. But buckle up. As spring break road trips get closer, more increases are coming.
Could be just a week or two away from seeing those sub $3 prices disappear. So prepare to dig a little deeper.
How much deeper? Well, let's put it this way. If you have a mid-sized SUV, for every 30 cents the price of gas goes up, you're putting another $5 right here into your tank.
And by the time they peak, we could be looking at an average of anywhere from $3.15 to $3.35 a gallon in San Antonio.
Why the rise? Gas Buddy's chief analyst says oil prices are up, but the main reason for the continuing surge is seasonal. Spring means more people will be driving, and refineries will switch to mandated pricier summer blends. It's a rough road for drivers already paying more for just about everything.
I think I'm going to ride a bike.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Look outside with live cam preparing for a big temperature drop, Adam.
Yeah, get ready for a chilly weekend. Even just within a couple of hours, we're going to drop about 10 degrees because of that cold front. And the wind is going to be picking up as well. We have a few showers along that front in northern Comal County. We'll take a closer look at those and a look at where all the rain fell earlier today in just a bit, along with that chilly weekend and when the spring-like temperatures return in just a bit.
Okay, Adam Caskey, how far away are we from this cold air hitting us?
What's the timing?
Myra Arthur, Steve Spreester, we are not that far away. Sorry, it just caught me off guard. It's like when my wife calls me by my real name, like Adam. I'm like, that was weird. Normally you say like honey or something like that, you know. So anyway,
I was wondering there for a second what she was calling it. If it wasn't Adam. So
right, Adam Caskey.
Honey seems good. Okay,
well, Adam Robert Caskey. When is it called?
Meteorologist Adam Robert Caskey.
Oh boy. Okay, let's move on. Anyway, it just caught my ear, and it's Friday, and I was like, what do we do with this? Okay, let's go to our authority radar and take a look at the little bit of shower activity out there, and notice it's right around Canyon Lake, and headed through Hayes County. And this is Canyon Lake High School and just clipping parts of the lake. If you're on the west side, or if you're actually on the east side of the lake, closer to the dam, you look west and northwest and you'll see the nice rain shaft. Well, it's getting a little dark out there right now, but you'll see the rain falling down, and it's just a little splash, not adding up to a whole lot, maybe a quick 1/10 of an inch, and that's about it. Speaking of rainfall, earlier today, we were right on the edge of the activity. You see that cutoff line, basically along I-35 here in Bexar County, and then south of I-10 east of town, and actually some decent accumulations. In Karnes County, DeWitt County, we had over 1/2 inch, and in some instances, around and just over an inch measured, especially southern Atascosa County over to Kennedy and Falls City area and stretching to Cuero. You get into Bexar County, different story. Nothing on the north side of town. Downtown, about 0.05 of an inch. You get to Elmendorf, nearly 1/4 of an inch, and then 0.3 of an inch. Far south side, 1604 and I-37. So a big difference when it came to the rainfall earlier. All right, let's talk about our average last freeze, because we will have a light freeze Sunday morning. Our average last freeze is February 24th here in San Antonio, but in the Hill Country, it can be as late as March 27th in around parts of Kerr County. So here's a look at the temperature map. That north wind pushing that cooler air into our area here momentarily. The fronts already moved into the hill country and it's pushing southward. 45 in Lubbock, 50 in Abilene, but 75 now in Del Rio. You see that difference, and the colder air is moving its way in. Notice the readings. Fredericksburg 58, Kerrville at 59, but 68 in San Antonio, 68 in Hondo. So about a 10-degree temperature drop pretty quickly right along that front. That's why I said within a couple of hours, we'll see a quick 10-degree temperature drop, and then it'll be a little more gradual the rest of the night. But the wind is picking up as well. North wind now already steady at 20 miles per hour in Kerrville, up to 14 in Rock Springs. These numbers will rise, and we're going to get that wind in San Antonio in just a few hours. Locations south of town, it'll take a little bit longer. But the gusts will be even higher, and it's the gusts that you'll really notice, I think, even by 9, 10 o'clock here in town, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. And then I do think we could see some gusts between 30 and 35 miles per hour through the night and a good chunk of the day tomorrow. So plan for not just gusty, but colder as well. Tomorrow morning, 40 degrees in San Antonio, but it's going to feel like it's about 10 degrees cooler when you factor in the wind. So that's something to keep in mind. And we'll be above freezing tomorrow morning, but you'll feel the chill. 39 Timberwood Park, 37 Bernie, 43 Von Army. By the afternoon, we only make it into the lower 50s, and parts of the hill country probably won't even climb out of the upper 40s. 51 here in town Saturday afternoon. Some afternoon sunshine. By Sunday, light freeze in the morning at 32 degrees and even some upper 20s in the hill country Sunday morning. And south of Highway 90, I think you'll be just a degree or two above freezing. By the afternoon, we're at 57 degrees. But notice how we're back to spring-like conditions next week. 80 for the high temperature on Wednesday. Here's a look at our radar. We're not expecting much as the cold front moves through. That activity at near Canyon Lake is highly isolated and the exception, but most of the rain, as I mentioned, just south and east of San Antonio today. That upper disturbance is moving out, and this big old high in the Pacific, that's moving in, and that's going to be here by the middle of next week, and that's going to give us our warmth with temperatures back up to 80 degrees, near 80 Tuesday, and probably lower 80s Wednesday and especially Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Monkeys, lobsters, and an elevator.
Oh, I'm in.
Coming up on the bus.
Oh, my.
You got me.
A group of college basketball players found themselves in a tight spot before their game this week. They got stuck in an elevator for so long that the game was delayed. The players were from Farley Dickinson University. They were getting ready to play an away game against Long Island University when they got stuck. They had to be rescued by the New York City Fire Department.
Yeah, this is video that was shared on social media. It shows the players climbing out of that elevator one at a time. One player said the cramped quarters were somewhat claustrophobic, but mainly just hot and sweaty. Like they're in uniform. They're ready to go. They made it to the game about 15 minutes late. They managed to win, by the way, by just 2 points. So
there you go.
That's uplifting.
Yeah. Yes.
Humans aren't the only animals who like to tease each other for fun. A new international study suggests our primate cousins enjoy the habit as well. I enjoy it. The scientists looked at video of chimps, orangutans, bonobos, and gorillas interacting at zoos in San Diego and in Germany.
Yes, you do enjoy a good tease.
Yeah, I
The
do.
researchers paid close attention to actions like body movements, facial expressions, and the response of the target of the tease. In all, they found 18 different teasing behaviors. The researchers say they rarely observed an aggressive reaction from the target of the teasing. They also noted the playful teasing typically happened while the apes were relaxed.
I want to see an orangutan roll its eyes like Myra does.
That's a skill.
Side eye, orangutan side eye. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Okay, hardcore seafood fans may want to sink their claws into Red Lobster's newest contest. The company is announcing the debut of its nationwide Endless Lobster Experience. Now, no, this does not mean you can get free lobster till the end of time, but the 150 winners of this contest will be endlessly served lobster for 2 hours.
Yeah, so let's crack the code on what this means. They get 2 side dishes and Red Lobster's signature Cheddar Bay biscuits. After that 2-hour feast, victors will also be given about a dozen lobsters to take home. The contest, which is held on Red Lobster's social media page, starts February 20th.
Feeling winter-like this weekend, but signs of spring are out there. Check this out around Poth. We've got some bluebonnets. Early bluebonnets have popped up. And next week will actually feel like spring. We'll be back up into the upper 60s Monday afternoon and then 80 degrees by the middle of the week. But prepare for that chilly weekend and windy on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for watching the news at 6.
We'll see you back here on the Night Beat at 10. It's a bounty of baby bluebonnets.